Well, first of all, thank you all very much. City Councilman Scott Sherman, I represent District 7, which encompasses where we're standing right now. Welcome to the hood. Just wanted to say that we're very glad to be here, bringing forth some ideas that we're going to present to CSAG and see what they might want to do with it. But first, I'd really like to thank Mayor Faulkner for his strong leadership. And, you know, the mayor, I give him all the credit in the world for the first mayor who's really come out and said, under my watch, this is going to happen. And he's stayed true to that commitment so far, and I just wanted to commend the mayor. And then the Citizens Advisory Group, I mean, these people are volunteering their time, in some cases their own personal money, to try and find a solution to keeping the Chargers and the NFL here and keep San Diego a world-class city. So I just want to commend them and Adam Day, the chairman, and the rest of the group. They're doing a phenomenal job. I'm also here today with Councilmember Chris Cate from District 6. I'm here with Gary London from London Financial and Realty Advisors. He will be speaking to the numbers that are going to be proposed. Rob Hudsell, Executive Director for River Park, San Diego River Park Foundation. I tell you, Rob and I a couple years ago started talking very seriously about what we can do along the river and possible opportunities. And this was one of them, and we never thought it would come up this quick, but here we are. And then also to represent some of the Chargers players and to let fans know that a lot of the former players are behind us here is Sean Lights Out Merriman from the past. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. You know, as a vocal proponent of revitalization and keeping a stadium in Mission Valley, I felt it was only fair to lay out my vision and plan on the table for discussion and public scrutiny. The mayor and CSAG members have taken a lot of risk and criticism reporting these bold ideas, and I figured, well, it's about time that I joined the table and put up some ideas of my own. You know, a lot of our constituents been asking for something from our office for a while, so here we are. What you see today around the stadium is large, mostly empty parking lot. I mean, you can see the amount of distance on both sides from us here today. And a lot of people look at it there, and what I see is not just a parking lot, but an amazing set of opportunities and a canvas that we could turn into all kinds of opportunities for San Diego and for keeping the NFL here. Unfortunately, I don't have millions of dollars at my disposal. I don't have the bandwidth to actually put together architectural renderings and do those types of things. So what we've done is looked at some of the proposals that have come up over the last 14 years here, tweaked them, maneuvered them a little bit, came up with some ideas on numbers on how we think we could get to this without doing taxpayer dollars to fund it, and that's what you'll see here today. But I really believe, you know, if we do this correctly and plan for it and develop this site along with the stadium, this could be a catalyst for economic development. It could revitalize the river, institute the River Park master plan, and just be an overall economic engine and amenity here in the city of San Diego. You know, you revitalize the current land with mixed-use residential, commercial, retail properties, restaurants, a new multi-use Charger stadium, and a Riverwalk type concept similar to what they have in San Antonio. And I think you could really create a special destination right here in Mission Valley. You know, if you do this right, the destination itself would be a go-to sports facility. This would be a spot to go to whether there's a game or not, with all the nightlife and other amenities that would be happening, the parks and everything else that would be here. You know, a lot of times people go downtown to go to the gas lamp, those types of things. They go there whether or not Petco has a game going on or not. Same thing could happen here. You know, one of the things that excites me about this site is the river park and the possibilities to restoring the river back to the way it used to be. You know, I'm an avid outdoorsman and conservationist, and I think this gives us an opportunity to institute the River Park master plan, to embrace the City of Villages concept that the city's trying to do with density around transit-oriented development. All those opportunities exist here. You have the major freeways, you have the trolley stop that's right here behind us. You could have a beautiful mixed-use go-to destination that would generate tax revenue, jobs, and development impact fees to help implement all these public amenities that would be in place. Now, we do have a few recommendations to CSAG along with some of the numbers and the vision that we're putting forth here. A lot of this has been put together by our office and input from people in the community. But for construction of the stadium, there should be no cost to the general fund. You know, we've heard overwhelmingly from taxpayers when we talk to them. Yes, we want the Chargers. Yes, we want the NFL. Yes, we want a new stadium, and we don't think we should pay for it. So we've heard you. We're trying to figure out ways to do this, and this is one possibility that will be presented to CSAG, and they can do what they will with it. People are talking about the uncertainty all the time of the Chargers wanting to leave, moving to leave. Are they going to leave? Are they not going to leave? So we think there should be an inclusion of an ironclad long-term lease and commitment from the Chargers to remain in San Diego for the duration of the bonds and the financing mechanisms that are in place. The inclusion, and this is a really important one for me, and I know it is for Rob as well, the inclusion of at least a 20-acre park should be included in any major revitalization of this 166-acre site. Increased traffic mitigation measures for Mission Valley communities surrounding the stadium. That should be part of any kind of deal that is going forward, or at least let them consider that as a very important hurdle that we need to overcome. The infrastructure in Mission Valley has its challenges now. We need to make sure that we plan for the future, so any kind of development here should have the infrastructure plans incorporated with it. Any final recommendations regarding a stadium plan needs to go to the voters for approval. One way or another, the voters need to have a chance to weigh in on this. Whether it's a 2/3 threshold, different types of threshold, what the financing mechanisms the group finally comes up with, that's different, but the voters should have a say-so. San Diego River is an important asset. You know, we've talked about that before, so any kind of development here must include the San Diego River Park Master Plan as part of it. And then lastly, this has come from a lot of people, is how come the Chargers aren't paying market rate rent? We kind of wondered that ourselves, and we looked at different teams throughout the NFL, and we think, you know, as any kind of deal down here, if you're going to put a deal together that makes sense for both sides, market rate rent should be also included. So, you know, this is not meant to be a final plan by any means. This is really to add to the discussion and possibly help CSAG with the important decision that they will be making soon. Many people, including some of you right here, might have different ideas and thoughts about what makes sense here. And that's kind of why we're here today, is to make sure that we keep this discussion going. We realize what Mission Valley is and what kind of asset and possibility we have to keep the Chargers here, to keep the NFL here, and to create an economic opportunity for the city and its citizens and the taxpayers. So with that, I'm going to throw it open to, let's see, who do we want to do first? Councilmember Kate. He's next. Our newest council member from District 6. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilmember Sherman. Good afternoon, everybody. I first want to start out by saying thank you and I appreciate the work of Councilmember Scott Sherman and being forthright and putting forward a plan that lays out a number of different options that will be presented to the Stadium Advisory Group. It's a comprehensive plan that has a number of different options available for financing, but the one thing is certain that it shows that the construction of a new stadium can be done without city general fund dollars. And so I appreciate his hard work and his team's efforts to put forward something for consideration. Again, this shows that there are a number of different pathways to finance a stadium, and the work that the Stadium Advisory Group has been doing over the past months has been fantastic. It's been forthright. They've done a great job, and I know that they will take this into consideration when developing their final proposal at the end of May, and I look forward to what they present. But again, one of the comments that we've constantly heard in our office is that any proposal to put forward to build a stadium should not be done with general fund dollars, and this shows that that opportunity does exist for the Chargers, for San Diego, and for taxpayers. I, like a vast majority of San Diegans, want to keep the Chargers in San Diego, and as Councilmember Sherman said, this is just another step in the right direction with a lot of momentum behind our efforts to try to make that a reality. One thing that I want to make certain, and I've said this throughout the last 20 months or so, both on the campaign and while in office, is that there must not be any general fund dollars allocated to build the construction of a stadium. As well, too, after discussing this with Councilmember Sherman and the options that he's presented, that we have some ideas that we'd like to support in the development of this site. One of which being making sure that there are improvements to the infrastructure surrounding this area, mitigation for folks and residents within Mission Valley, that there are public amenities that are offered, similar to what Petco has done with downtown, and as well the revitalization of the San Diego River. Additionally, like Councilmember Sherman said, I want to be unwavering in my support to make sure that an agreement with the Chargers is ironclad for the duration of the financing of the stadium, and that we have that long-term commitment for taxpayers and for residents that they will be here for the foreseeable future. So in closing, I just want to say that I hope that the stadium advisory groups takes these options into consideration, as well as others from the public. I appreciate the leadership by Councilmember Sherman in coming forward and presenting options to the public and what he believes are opportunities to finance the construction of a new stadium. And I look forward to the discussion that is to come and the financing plan that's presented at the end of May. Thank you very much.
And next, I'd like to introduce one of the guys who I just love to watch play football, Mr. Sean Merriman.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thanks to Mayor Faulkner and Councilman Sherman and everyone who's kind of really been involved in the process, and the fans who really let their voice been heard over these last few weeks. Really been involved in the process and really making an impact. I think that we all know that this is not really a final deal, but it gives another option, and probably the best option, and it's exciting. It is very exciting to kind of work in a direction, because I think we all want the same thing, and that's to keep the team here in San Diego. And I really believe that this last option is the best. I've been really hands-on from the process starting all the way until now, and I really believe that this is a step in the right direction. So I really want to say thank you again and let me be involved, and can't say thank you to you guys out there that showed your support, letting everything be heard, and the panel, my former teammates who we've got a chance to come down with and sit in meetings and talk about different situations and how to get this thing done, because it should be. And hopefully at this point in time it will, and everything work out for the best. Thank you.
And next, the man I talked about earlier from the River Park Foundation, who's been working very, very hard to get the River Park Master Plan implemented and done, I think, 14 years now. So, Rob?
Good morning, Rob Hutzel, and I'm very, very pleased to be here on behalf of the San Diego River Park Foundation and our some 26,000 plus supporters. It is a great day whenever we talk about the river for us, and to be here and with Councilmember Sherman's leadership to represent the river in his plans and his thoughts and his principal vision is really exciting for us. Imagine maybe perhaps 40 acres or more of this asphalt removed and turned into green space for the community. It's very exciting, and that vision is something that we look forward to working with all the members of the group here to advance and to keep sure that the community and the river is part of this vision. Again, we just wanted to be here and show our support for the river and the River Park and Councilmember Sherman and his efforts to make sure that the San Diego River Park vision is implemented when whatever happens here at the stadium. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. And now Mr. Gary London, who helped put all the financials together on here and listed the range of options in that for us and is our numbers expert on this. Mr. Gary London.
Hi, my name is Gary London. I'm president of the London Group Realty Advisors. We conduct for the real estate development community market studies and feasibility and financial studies to help inform them on how much to develop, what to develop, and how much money they're going to make. And in that regard, we've had an opportunity to work with Councilman Sherman and members of his staff and Councilman Cates to look at what the range of development options are for the Qualcomm site. And I want to make it clear that what we're talking about is a mixed-use master plan project that we've envisioned to be developed in concert with the land reserved for a stadium, to be developed with the stadium. But a development on this site, on this 166 acres of central San Diego property, can be accomplished with or without the stadium. It's a eminently developable site. And so what we've created is a range of development options to sort of create some parameters for the eventual development of the site, which we think is an asset and an opportunity for the city of San Diego taxpayers, regardless of whether the ballpark is accomplished or when it's accomplished here. What we have is a big site. It's a mostly flat site. We have the potential bookend premiums of both the stadium on one end and obviously the riverfront on the other. We're surrounded by major freeways. We're a transit-oriented site with the trolley. and we're sort of detached from the central Mission Valley location so that we can create density which ought to be accomplished on a site this size. But I think what's important to keep in mind is that this is probably the largest undeveloped asset that is owned by the city of San Diego and by the taxpayers. So what we want to do is maximize the value of that asset. So what we've proposed is a development concept that at its highest achievable density could accommodate approximately 3 million square feet of office space, approximately 6,000 residential units, a hotel of at least 300 rooms, and 500,000 square feet of office. We can go down from there, and what we've created is a range of development options depending on how the issues sort of break out over the years. But it's a phased development approach which represents a mixed-use opportunity where people can live and work and recreate and shop in the same location. In essence, it's a testimonial to the city of San Diego, City of Villages policy to create that kind of mixed-use environment, to minimize the external impacts of traffic, and to maximize the opportunities of the site and to maximize the achievable value of the site that ultimately translates into more money back into the city treasury. So I think what we have is an opportunity that the Chargers, that we ought to be thankful that the Chargers began the discussion so many years ago. What we need to do now is take that discussion into the next phase and start a very serious set of concept plans to get a real estate development project started at this site. And I think with that, I'll stop and be happy to answer any questions later. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, that's going to wrap things up. And what I wanted to just follow and end with here is, you know, so many times with all the different proposals and stuff that have come over the years, people have concentrated on the obstacles that were put in front of them. We need to make sure that we concentrate on the vision that's put in front of us and figure out a way to overcome the obstacles and instead of letting those obstacles get in the way of the vision. And that's really what we need to talk about here today, and that's what I'm hoping that CSAG will take from this. Take some of these numbers with the range of options that we're giving them, take the concept, they can use some of it, all of it, or none of it. That's totally into their purview. But this is showing what is possible, what could happen, and what kind of benefit it could create for the citizens of San Diego if done properly with the right kind of planning and forethought. So I just want to say thanks again for everybody for being here, and we'll throw it open to questions for a few minutes.
Cost, cost, the actual total cost, and where does the money come from since it's not tax funded?
It could come from a couple of different sources: land sales, land lease, those types of things. We will be handing out a thumb drive that has a video of all this together with all the different numbers put together with a different range of options. And it goes where at the high range, you know, you're looking at about $593 million for the highest density development, and what that would put forth. At the low range, 336. That's what the land value would put forward. And then you just have to look at different options for NFL investment, Chargers investment, and all these other different investments that can get you to where you want. But it gives you a range of options. So if, you know, people don't like the highest density, we can look down the other way. We just have to figure out how to make up the difference.
Skeptics out there are going to say there are already multiple plans, and this is similar to plans that have been, like you said, 14 years in running. Why go ahead and bring this plan to the forefront now when you've already got things on the table?
Yeah, one, like I said before, is I don't have the bandwidth to go out and recreate things, so we had to work with what we had. So we took it, lowered some density, tweaked things around, put in more park space and those type of things. But there are a lot of things on this site that existed in the past that don't exist now. We've got the oil plume that's getting cleaned up and taken care of. That's out of the way. You've got the River Park Master Plan that is now in place, so development knows that that's going to be part of the deal. So that's different. And for once, you have political will and leadership that's saying, okay, we're going to get this done now, and it needs to be taken care of. And if we do it right and make it a business deal that makes sense for everybody, at the end of the day, it's going to be a win-win for everybody involved.
And one more is that have you worked with the ownership group at all? Fabiani praising your involvement. Have you been working with the ownership group at all to put these plans together?
haven't been working with the ownership group at all on this. The only thing I did was give them a quick call to give them a heads up so that they didn't feel like they were getting blindsided by anything. Hold on, one more right here first. She was in line.
Fabiani continues to stir up controversy over this. Are you concerned at all if it's maybe all for naught?
My thoughts on how things have been going to this point is Mr. Fabiani, I think, is doing what he's wanting to do for his clients. All these ideas have been coming forward, and he's been putting up the different obstacles that could possibly be there, hoping that when the final plan itself comes forward, that we'll have looked at all those obstacles and figured out ways to overcome. That way the best deal comes forward in the beginning. So I don't begrudge him for what he's been doing, because that's just trying to do the best he can for his client.
You show this to the mayor?
Yes, sir.
And is this top of his list?
I can't speak for the mayor. He's seen the pictures and some of the numbers, yes, sir.
What kind of encouragement do you give?
Likes the idea that we're taking it to CSAG and presenting this as one of many possible options that could be out there. And like I said, they can use some of this, all of it, or none of it. It's really up to them. Representing the district here and being D7, we just finished a series of like 5 different town hall meetings around the district. Every single one is, what are you going to do about the chargers? And you got to put some kind of plan on the table. So we came together and figured out, okay, let's look at what everybody's been saying, use what we can, because we can't reinvent the wheel, and redo the numbers, and that's what we've come up with today.
Scott, 2 questions. How does this fit into the Mission Valley Master Plan update? What numbers are you using to estimate the cost of the stadium and the offsite?
Yeah, Gary can talk about some of the numbers, but when it comes to the master plan, the community plan update, that's what we've been pushing for ever since I got in office, quite frankly, is trying to put those things on a ramped up schedule and getting done. We'll see how the negotiations go and where Mission Valley is in the process. But if you look at community plans and how antiquated they are, in the district where I live, right up here in Navajo, just down the road, the last time our community plan updated was a year after I graduated from high school. So it's kind of hard to say, okay, we got to wait for a community plan because it takes so long to get those things done. There's ways we can go around that. And I think that's really what I want people to take away from a lot on this too, is that I think there's finally a commitment from all involved to try and make something happen. And with community involvement, political leadership, and making those kind of things happen, we can get this thing done. And that may take streamlining a lot of the city processes to make it happen. You guys are an easy crowd. Yes, ma'am.
It says on the high end, $35 million from private investors. Is
Right.
that kind of a hope, or is there conversations you've had that there's interest?
We've been looking at different mechanisms that other stadiums have used to help finance some of those things, and that can be anywhere from crowdfunding to advertising to a bunch of different mechanisms. But we took kind of an average of what we thought would possibly be realistic and put it in there. Perfect. Now, did everybody get their thumb drive? We're all good? So that you'll have the videos and the numbers and everything else. And Gary and everybody, if you have questions after, we'll be more than happy to be available. Again, thank you all very, very much for being here today.